This is the story of a man unlike any other, the only person in the world who survived 2 full days in the depths of the ocean without any oxygen tanks or equipment. The question is, was it sheer luck? Or did death itself simply look the other way? Welcome, friends, Retro Realm. Today, we're about to share a true story that reignites our belief in human courage, fear, and miracles. There's no doubt that the ocean is one of the most mysterious and dangerous places on Earth. And the deeper a person ventures into it, the more darkness, pressure, and isolation chase them. Interestingly, about 80% of the ocean remains unexplored by humans, a place so remote that very few dare to see it, let alone reach it. In these merciless depths, it's not uncommon for large ships, boats, or even airplanes to vanish without a trace. Today's story is about a man who was pulled from death's grasp by sheer fate. This is the story of Harrison Okene from Nigeria. By profession, Harrison was a chef cooking on a tugboat. On the morning of May 26, 2013, he set out with 11 colleagues to assist an oil tanker in the Gulf of Guinea. About 30 kilometers off the coast of Nigeria, an oil tanker had gotten stuck, and their mission was to help tow it free. It seemed like a routine task, but that day, the ocean had other plans. Around 5:30 a.m., as the tugboat began pulling the tanker with heavy ropes, a sudden massive wave struck with full force. In an instant, everything changed. The boat lost balance, the rope snapped, and before anyone could react, the entire vessel capsized and sank. Panic spread among the 12 people on board. Most were trapped in their rooms, as the area was notorious for pirate attacks, so doors were always kept locked for safety. But the doors that protected them from pirates could not withstand the power of the water. Within moments, every cabin flooded, but Harrison was lucky. He was outside his cabin in the bathroom. As the boat overturned, he was left in just his underwear, bumping his head against the ceiling. Water rushed in through the skylight. He immediately opened the door, but as soon as he did, the strong current swept him into another section of the ship. There, he found a small pocket of air, just enough to take a few breaths. The darkness was so complete that he couldn't even see his own hands. All he could sense was that he was underwater, and his face barely broke through the layer of air above. Moments later, the ship crashed to the ocean floor and about 30 meters, 100 feet down, roughly the height of an 8-story building. Harrison, who couldn't even swim, was now trapped in his underwear, alone in cold water, total darkness, and complete isolation. He knew his chances of survival were almost zero. The tiny air pocket he was trapped in could vanish at any moment. Fumbling through the water, he tried to reach another section of the ship, and astonishingly, he found a larger pocket of air, the ship's engineer's office. This was the place where he took refuge. No food, no water, and only the limited oxygen trapped in a small enclosed space. Hope was almost gone, and no rescue seemed in sight. Alone in fear and darkness, he suddenly heard a faint sound in the water. It was the sound of something moving or striking. Harrison couldn't see it, but he had a feeling that someone might be outside. Even with death lurking so close, he did not give up. Feeling his way through the water, he found a few floating Coca-Cola cans, which he drank to prevent dehydration. A little later, his hands brushed against a mattress, which he placed beneath himself to keep his chest above the water. If he had remained fully submerged in the freezing water, hypothermia could have claimed his life within hours. This way, he managed to protect himself from cold and thirst, but another danger remained: the lack of oxygen. The air bubble around him was slowly shrinking, and oxygen for breathing was running out fast. Experts say that such small air pockets can keep a person alive for a maximum of 60 hours. Harrison had already spent 2 days in this prison. Underwater, 30 meters deep in a confined space, there was only silence and cold left. Oxygen had become a guest with a limited stay, and he was just waiting for his last breath. Then suddenly something happened. He heard a soft knock on metal. At first he couldn't believe it, but soon he realized someone outside was hammering. The truth was that an oil company had sent a team of divers to search the shipwreck. They had no idea that a human was still alive inside. Harrison saw a faint light in the water, and his joy knew no bounds when a diver appeared before him. According to the rescue team, when they found Harrison, He was just minutes away from death. His body had almost no strength left and his eyes could barely open. The diver immediately put an oxygen helmet on him and tried to restore his breathing. But they couldn't bring him out immediately, because a sudden change in pressure could have been dangerous for his heart. So they first used a diving bell, slowly bringing him to the surface of the sea. Even after emerging from the water, he stayed in the bell for 2 days, allowing his body to adjust gradually to normal pressure. 2 days later, Harrison fully regained consciousness. The first words he said were, "I will never go near the sea again." Harrison Okene, the only person in the world, and perhaps the last, to survive in the depths of the ocean without oxygen tanks or equipment, and miraculously returned to the surface alive. But the accident left a deep mark on his mind. Even today, memories of those moments haunt him in nightmares. If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe, because your support gives us the inspiration to bring more stories to life.